Welcome back, everybody. Today is Monday, and we have a big week ahead of us. Last week was largely a sleeper. Not a lot of volatility. We saw some stocks take some bleeding, some crashing, like SpaceX, Tesla. We had some commodities pump like oil, and into Monday morning, just as expected and as predicted on Friday, Iran-U.S. tensions ease again for the 80th or 90th weekend in a row. Oil back down. Stocks, I think, sideways and back up. But we have a big week this week. Last week, really nothing happened. But in the week ahead, we will see the second FOMC ever with the new Fed chair, Warsh. This is going to be absolutely the economic event of the week. There's nothing bigger that is possibly going to happen in this week. Honestly, maybe this month. Opinions and predictions have changed wildly on Fed interest rate cuts and hikes over the last 6 months, a year. On this channel, we've been talking about hikes for a long time. It was a very unpopular opinion, but opinions aren't out there for being popular. Opinions are, at least here, supposed to reflect reality and help us get an edge on markets. The Fed is now looking for a hike. It has not been said by Warsh. It is possible. I'll say it's possible that Warsh talks about a hike on Wednesday. We're going to be streaming that live here, by the way, at 1:30 p.m. East. We'll be starting up, so make sure you join. It's possible he talks about a hike. I don't think it is very likely that we get a hike on Wednesday. That being said, if you take a look at interest rate, probability guessers, whatever weight you put into those, they are no longer signaling for a cut to any percent odd. For the last year or so, markets were holding out, holding their breath for these cuts. Now off the table here. If you do look at the upcoming Wednesday probabilities, you'll see almost a 40% chance of an interest rate hike. Wow. Honestly, that's actually higher than I expected. That's higher than I would give it. I was going to say about a 25 or 20% chance. It looks like markets, though, are predicting a 38.8%, almost half, almost a 50% chance of a cut or a hike. Sorry. Think about how big of a turnaround that has been over the last year. It's honestly a little crazy. Last week's probability sat at about 16%, closer to where my opinion lies. But that is bumped up now to almost 40% over the weekend. Holy crap. At this point, I would speculate that even just that probability being out there in the public and clearly traders sharing that opinion is enough that we're going to see markets react to it. No hike on Wednesday could be a bullish indicator, especially if we see selling off into Wednesday across markets, which is probably likely at this point. Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday morning, I would put a higher probability than usual that we get a pump out of the FOMC, provided there is no interest rate change. If markets begin pricing it in now, they'll have 2 days to temper their expectations, and then I guess it would be a bullish or dovish event to not get one. I think it's going to be very likely now, seeing that 40%, that Warsh will at least speak on them. People were under the illusion that Warsh was really dovish for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that was just like what they had hoped, that he'd be very dovish. His speech was not. I think it is very likely we hear more about these task forces. Maybe we'll hear about more task forces. Maybe we'll hear new nominations to the task forces. I think that those are likely going to be the highlights if there's no interest rate talk. We look at the probability graph, maybe if it'll pop up. Maybe it won't. Is it not going to pop up? Weird. My browser's behaving weirdly. I was just going to show the basically the change, the swing, the volatility of kind of what is predicted for these. When you get out into September, so something important to note is July is the last FOMC until September. September and October, I'll even say November, the end of the year FOMCs in the past have been by far the biggest, the most, I'll say exciting, but the most volatility driven, the most impactful. Those are the times that we have seen big swings and shift from the Fed. And looking out into September, we have a 54, more than 50% chance of having at least a 25 BPS hike by September's meeting. There's actually a 1 in 4% 25%, 26%, saying that we'll have 50 BPS. This may not be enough. We're going to look into bonds here in just a second in the bond yields, and we're going to see if bonds are agreeing with 25, 50, 100 more, whatever. We're going to see if they're in agreement with what the Fed is being predicted to do at this point, and that'll be a solid confirmation. The Fed can set the short-term rate, but the Fed does not control the longer-term rates, does not control the 2-year, the 5-year, the 10-year, the 30-year. But it's really the other way around. They pretty much control what the Fed does indirectly. I mean, the Fed can always, of course, ignore the bond market. I think that'd be catastrophic. It's never what the Fed does. But it is the other way around. The longer-term interest rates tell the Fed what to do, essentially. I'm not going to give you a full lesson on it right now, but that is the easiest gist. The easiest, simplest. Oh, I got to boot that guy. There you go. Way to understand these. These are showing you where the interest rates will be, and if they aren't there by the Fed, then there is going to essentially be an inefficiency and a loss. Be inflation, there can be depression, whatever, recession, anything of the above. So let's jump here. US 3-month yield sits at 4%, and guess where 4% is? That's 25 BPS hike. It is currently July. We have August, September, October. So the 3-month yield is saying we see a 25 interest rate BPS hike in the next 3 months in this year. That is in agreement with that 40% chance of a hike this month and a 51% chance in September. So 3-month yield is validating that call. The 6-month says the same thing. It is sitting at 4%, but there's something important to note here. The 6-month and the 3-month being the same, even though they are higher than the current rate, suggests that there may only be one hike from now, I guess until 6 months from now, which is February, early next year. So that might be hawkish or negative to some traders thinking there's going to be a hike, but the 6-month is saying, hey, don't get too excited or don't get too scared. It's likely only going to be one time at this point. And it's likely going to be, I'd say, this month or in September. I'd go with September, honestly. September has always been the money for us. Here's where it gets problematic. When we go out to the 2-year, so now focusing from 2026 all the way out until 2028. That is a long time. The last 2 years have been the longest decade of my life. The next 2 years are likely to be even longer. But when we look at the bigger picture, we look at the longer term view all the way out, we see something maybe a little unsettling. Not only is the 2-year at 4.33%, which is another 50% off the 2-year. So that's 75 BPS higher. Not only is it 75 BPS higher in the next 2 years, which means potentially 3 25 cuts or a combination in between, but something a little bit even more unsettling than that, than just the number. We've been watching this chart for a while. This chart, the 2-year, looked like it was going to break down. It really did not look bullish until the beginning of this year. At the end of 25, we had seen the 2-year yield test support over and over and over again throughout the years. Its highs continued to be lower. And essentially that is a breakdown pattern when it comes to charts. Now the 2-year yield is a little bit different. It's not a stock, it's not a commodity. It doesn't quite trade that way, but we tend to see technical analysis still apply. Because it did not break down and immediately reversed, broke its downtrend, and is now painting higher highs, I guess, higher highs, more upside suggestion. I would argue, I'm just going to place this lazily. I would argue that means the 2-year might be looking for even higher and even potentially breaking above October of 23's high. This is just sloppily placed. I'm not really trying to be accurate. I'm just trying to show the concept here is this was going to break down. Something changed. Something changed here and pushed this back out of its downtrend and began a new uptrend. This is something to be watching. This is something that I think every big player, everyone serious in finance is watching this 2-year and actually longer yields. We'll get to them as well because it is very spooky. This does not look like something that's done. It may take some time, especially after we do have an interest rate hike this year. It may take some time to consolidate, trade sideways, kind of tease maybe another downside move. But I think this is a chart looking to move higher, looking to retest its highs. that would put it somewhere at the 5.25%. That's a whole what, 150 basis points from the current rate. And we're talking, I'm saying like in 2 years is possible. Let's zoom out a little more. We have roughly the same thing in the 5-year. I will say the 5-year looks about 25 BPS higher. So it's suggesting within 2 to 5 years, we'd see another 25 interest rate increase. What that story shows us is a narrative of interest rate hikes, not just in the short term. We do see them in the short term, but also continuing into the years ahead. And this makes sense. To expect a cut makes absolutely no fiscal sense. A lot of people think that they need it for their bags to pump. They need it for the stock market to continue. They need to outgrow inflation, but it's just not. I don't personally see how that's going to possibly work. This makes total sense. We have seen the cost of living explode over the last 5 years. I don't even want to say it's the last year, last 2 years, over the last 5 years since COVID. But that explosion of cost has not cooled down. It's finally being reflected in gas prices. It wasn't reflected in gas prices earlier. I think that the cost of living and commodities and goods was front running the cost of energy inflating. And I think that energy will still remain volatile and it will still fluctuate around, as we're going to check out in just a minute with oil. But I think that it front run it. I think we're going to see oil move higher, obviously have pullbacks, but it's going to remain above those lows from the prior years. And I think it's going to retest, if not set higher highs over the course of the next year, maybe even sooner. Maybe I'm being too conservative, but I think that is very realistic that we've seen the cost of goods front run energy, and now energy is going to move up, and that's going to lock in those higher prices. An interest rate cut would only drive oil and inflation higher, and that's not what the Fed wants to do. Warsh has made it very clear that the Fed wants to address mostly inflation. I think he even doesn't really want to address unemployment at this point. But the problem is that unemployment continually is staying around the neutral rate of about 4.3, 4.4%, which is not a problem when it comes to the Fed. So if there's no problem with unemployment and there's a problem with inflation, the Fed's only choice is quantitative tightening and interest rate hikes. There's really no other way around it. This hopium that AI will somehow, outgrow or whatever inflation, I think is really a crazy thought. I think it's being entertained because the Fed under Warsh, he has said he doesn't want forward guidance. He doesn't want the Fed to set expectations. He doesn't want expectations set by the Fed for consumers and for market participants, which is understandable. But I think it's almost trying to narrate it the other way of like, well, I won't do it, but I'll have these task forces and they'll tell you how great AI is. We're going to hire AI CEOs to come tell you this and how we'll have 100 million% growth because of these large language models next year. And that it'll make inflation not a worry. That is a future that I would love to see and I would welcome, but it's not one that I think is reality, at least not in the short term. And when it comes to the markets are pretty much straight there with me. We see it on the 3-month, 6-month, 2-year, 5-year, and now even the 10-year yield in a similar position to that 2-year, in the sense of has a very big macro pattern that has recently broken to the upside, and I think is suggesting continuation. I think it's looking for higher highs when it comes to the yield of the 10-year. It is at 4.67%, and that's another 25 BPS out from the 5-year that we just looked at. So the farther that we look outward, the higher the interest rate is, the higher the bond market is suggesting the interest rate should be and likely will be as we go into the future. This can be volatile. We've seen times again, like the 2-year looked like it was going to break down. It reversed at the beginning of the year. Macro events and big things can impact that and change it. But those things are largely just going to be, kind of black swan. They're going to be outliers. They're not going to be likely things that are very obvious and telegraphed, right? So this is my little spiel on interest rates, the Fed this week, and the likelihood of, I'd say, kind of the next few months to maybe even years here. We're going to take a look at a lot of charts today. We're going to look at some live trades. I need you right now to subscribe to the channel, to follow, to tap the screen. I need some hearts. I need some likes. I need some subscribes. Engage with the live stream. Please say hello. Let me know you're here. No reality in the AI hypers. That's right, Foxy. They have AI generated hype. I need you to help engage. Say hello. Let me know you're here. I'll shout you out. I appreciate you guys tuning in on a Monday. Read chats and answer questions, Dylan. Well, I'm streaming on a lot of platforms. I'm trying my best to read them all. I also was getting through my little intro spiel, and I'm very ADD, so if I get distracted, I'm screwed. But I stayed on task pretty well. I do want to look at oil next. We're also going to look at SpaceX. I think SpaceX is directly headed for a $100 target, as we've been waiting for. If it can even bounce there. Obviously, we're going to look at Bitcoin. There's some few alerts went off this weekend. I think maybe something on gold, STRC, I don't know, whatever else we want to look at. We'll check it out as we go. But I appreciate you being here. Plenty of time for rate cuts when the bubble pops. And again, Wick, that's right on. Is the economy is doing well when it comes to stocks. The stock market is up. The job market is resilient. And to cut rates now leaves the Fed without any tools when inevitably markets do turn south or crash or whatever. Like, markets are cyclical. They do not just go up. They spend most of their time going up, but they don't just go up. And so if the Fed blows its load early, they won't have anything left to do when they actually need to do something. That's the big part that a lot of people seem to, I don't know, intentionally not understand, or disingenuously, or maybe they just don't really get it. You know, a lot of people have argued with me recently and they say, I don't care what the bond market says, they're going to cut rates. And it's like, all right, I'm done arguing with you. This conversation's over. Like, you can't say, I don't care what the bond market's doing and then talk about rates. Just doesn't make sense. We're going to look at the oils. Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Joey? What's up, Tom? What's the Crunk? Wick, Evil. Foxy, my guy. What's up, Dark Side? People keep chasing easy money. Well, it has been, outside of crypto, it has been easy money for the last few years. Crypto, weirdly, on the other side of that train. You want to hear me out? Do it, Flashbang. Hear it out. What are we not buying? How low do I think SpaceX will go? Oh, God, dude. SpaceX is a knife. We're going to look at oil, and then we'll look at SpaceX next. So oil, I think, is the main focus of today when it comes to markets. Let me know if I'm missing something. If I'm missing something, you know, chart, something going on that I'm not aware of. I'm just one man. I'm a one-man crew over here. I think oil is the main focus today. Maybe SpaceX. But oil, I was talking about earlier, where inflation, the cost of goods, the cost of everything has risen. Oil obviously spiked earlier this year and now it's pulled back. And I believe that likely the bottom is in for oil. And what we're going to see over the course of at least this year, maybe even farther, is a continued conflict or war in Iran. I don't think that that's going to resolve. I think oil is going to continue to trend higher. I think it will hold its lows. I don't think it's going to revisit its lows of even just a few years ago. I think it is incredibly likely it hits all-time highs. And so I am bullish on oil. It is a hard thing to trade, but I'm looking upwards, or at least with an upwards bias when it comes to oil in the short term, midterm, and probably even long term, at least for now. Over the weekend, or I'll say into Sunday's open, the last night, Brent oil came directly back to our entry here. We're looking for a 91-ish entry on Brent, and it tapped, wicked, and it's still going. Looking good here. The logic behind this trade was here and there. I'll go with the VWAP, the red line here, the volume weighted average price for Brent oil for this year was essentially the support on the entire rally. This red line, each time price found it, it found support and traded back up until June. I guess people actually thought the conflict was over, or manipulation, whatever you want to do with this. June, it did lose the VWAP for the first time, traded down to its open gap here from the pump in February, where we looked to long, at least on WIT. We had a long open for a 67 right there, filling the gap. Bounced exactly on Q, retook the VWAP, retested previous highs of June, and when this happened, we said it is likely, if oil doesn't just rip to new all-time highs, it's likely to come fill down here at the VWAP again to test that as support. It had broken it as resistance, and to test it for liquidity again as support. We said we could potentially use these daily candles as our stop loss, the low here, or even just the order block from this bullish engulfing to find support. And we're going to look to bring that right back to about 100, about 101. This would complete, at least in my mind, an inverse head and shoulders. We have a nice clean inverse head and shoulders pattern here on the retest of 100 from this 92. Now it can trade lower. This isn't a guaranteed trade. Obviously nothing is, but on a retest of 100, we have an established neckline with a left shoulder ahead and a right shoulder. If this plays out, we might expect oil to move back to all-time highs quickly, though it could do something a little more calm, maybe up to the 110s before coming back to 100 again. And in this scenario where we see a break of 100 and higher highs maybe into that day or week, I can look to re-long oil back to all-time highs. I think that would be a very classic, clean, easy trade. There's a lot of ifs and buts there and whens, so don't get too ahead of yourselves because obviously I'm thinking a few steps ahead into the future, but I think this is the logical price, the logical movement for oil here. It is heavily manipulated, and obviously so. I mean, we talk about gas prices in the US and we're like, $4, that's so high, or $5, that's so high. I mean, it is relatively, but you look at the rest of the world, they've been paying those prices forever, and actually much higher prices. In the US, we've had highly subsidized oil. If you look at the cost of everything else during, I don't know, the last decade, the last 2 decades, and you watch the price of oil, you'll find a disconnect. Oil does not, or has not in the past, increased, I'd even say, with inflation, right? Like, I know there's been times in my life where gas was $1 a gallon. Oh, I'm dating myself. And then we've seen it between, I don't know, the last 2 years, 20 years, we've seen $4, and then we've seen back to $2 while everything else continued to rise. And that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I think the only explanation is oil is heavily manipulated. The price of oil is very important to both the dollar, to geopolitical control in the world, to many factors. But I am a big believer that manipulated markets can only remain manipulated so long. It's like a pressure cooker. The more you jam in there, the more intense the pressure is. And you can hold a lot of pressure, but at some point that pressure escapes. I think we've seen something really similar with gold and silver. They underperformed or didn't perform at all for like 10 years. They didn't keep up with inflation. All of a sudden they exploded out. I think oil is going to do the same thing. I was surprised earlier this year when oil didn't do that going into like March. I'll say even as late as April. Like, I thought oil was just going to continue to 135 on Brent, blast all-time highs, and watch the tears. But I think in reality, there were a lot of kind of crisis emergency adjustments to both oil, how oil's refined, how in the US, the emergency stockpile, and probably other factors I'm not even aware of, to attempt to push that back down. I just don't think it's going to. I think any attempts to push it down is going to find higher lows, and I think it is going to inevitably move to those all-time highs, and that's going to be very punishing. It's going to be extremely punishing. You go to the gas station, $1 a gallon, you get yourself a can of Coke for a nickel. Well, I mean, that was long before my time. A nickel. Although I think when I was like a baby or toddler, I think I remember soda at like 25 cents. Maybe it's 50. Certainly way cheaper than it is now. So yeah, oil play, just looking for 91 to 100. I think here in the short term, I think is very viable. I think you can do that on Brent at 91, or you can do that here on oil, US oil, WIT, WTI at 82. I think they're both great plays. I think they're both valuable. I think that they're the big one to watch this week. Other than the end of the bull market, SpaceX. Did SpaceX actually end the bull market? What do you guys think? I think so. I think SpaceX will inevitably pop at some point. I don't think it's going back to all-time high this market cycle, personally. I think that there was a lot of hype into the IPO, a lot of hype in the rally post-IPO. I think a lot of capital is trapped there. I think 135 is the pivot. I think it's very likely that SpaceX will make a move, maybe from 100 to 135, potentially lower. There really is no lower bound estimate now. There is no analysis really to be done. These are kind of the values that we're able to get, and because we're in price discovery, we don't really have much else. But whenever it does, if it does pop, I think 135 is going to be the play. There is almost every single person who has bought this at this point has bought it at 135 or above. People were very hyped. The more hype that we see, and because we're experts at this in crypto, the more hype that something has as it pumps, typically the dumber the money. Sorry, guys. Not saying you're dumb. The dumber the money that jumps in, and dumber money tends to be fine as long as something's pumping, and then very finicky when it's dumping. If they haven't panic sold already, I think that almost anyone who jumped in the first few days of trading will look to get out at like 135. Something interesting here, the VWAP for SpaceX, I noticed like kind of high. I figured this would be lower. Is a little biased because it doesn't include any of the IPO price. Like this is only the trading price on NASDAQ. This doesn't have any of the volume at 135. And logically, I would say the most volume, or the most actual real volume, buying volume spot, was at 135. So this VWAP is likely much lower. I would say closer to the 135 level. Because we don't have a lot of time trading this, we're in price discovery to the downside. There's limited tools we have. My favorite, of course, is to use the Fibonacci extension and retracement, connecting our first day of trading to the all-time high of 225. And then we can look downward to both the 1618 level and the 2 measured move level on that Fibonacci extension. And what that gives us is 116 and 99.6, or basically 100. I think the only way I would touch SpaceX right now would be a potential scalp at 100. I don't hate 100, at least for a move to like 135. I would likely be out of any position at 135. I think that's the play. And if 100 doesn't hold, I mean, you're playing a dangerous game. If 100 doesn't hold, we could look at maybe this 3 extension, not really something we employ often, down at 66. Of course, you can just randomly slap on some psychological numbers here. You can say, well, $50 is a very attractive point for our monkey brains. You know, we see, ooh, 50, I know that number. That's a good number. Maybe you look there. Like, you really do get into kind of reading the leaves or tarot cards or astrology once you get into these price discoveries. There's just not a lot of analysis that can be done, and you really just have to work with what you have. I may look to make a scalp at 100. Definitely close at 130. I may look to short 130 if it comes first. If 100 breaks, I'm probably hands off here. If 100 breaks, honestly, I'm probably hands off on SpaceX for the inevitable future. Maybe it'll come back around in a year or two. I don't know. But that would just be not the risk appetite I'm looking for. What's up, my friends? What's up, Chris? It's an Elon company, so 69. All right. 69, 420. Tesla hit 420 not that long ago. SpaceX can hit 69. Nice. Monkey brain like 69. That's true. Dylan Crum, I think that there's like a whole thesis paper that someone could write for like their doctorate on like, I don't know what it would be, economy maybe, or like business, or, you know, whatever their doctorate is, that we have created 2 new psychological values. Those are things that don't really happen often. I would actually argue there's a 3rd one coming up that won't surface for another 5 to 10 years. And I'll tell you about that one too. But typically psychological numbers are going to be 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 100. These really simple numbers, really simple math, typically like 1/2 or 1/4 or 1 whole, things that anybody can visualize. You know, you have 2 apples. How much is half of them? You know, 50% is one of them. Anybody can do that math. And we tend to gravitate towards those numbers. When you look at individuals, maybe not, but when you look at groups of people, we tend to gravitate towards these comfortable, easy to understand numbers. And it's very true for trading. We tend to see bounces at $1 or $5, profit taking at $100, etc. But I will argue that there are at least 2 new ones and 1 future one coming up, and we've created them, I think. And that is 69. 69, we have millennials, Gen Z, Gen X. I think we've wished this, we've made this into reality. 69, I have seen act more and more like one of these solid, round, clean numbers over the years. The other one, I'd say, is 420. Maybe even 42, but like 420. these are just, I don't know, some of our favorite easy to understand numbers. Are definitely different. They're not as visualized. They're not as clean. But I think that we've created them, and we've, over the years of watching charts, I've seen at least those two become more and more reactive in maybe scenarios you wouldn't typically think they would be. So there's one more, and I think it's going to exist. Not yet. Maybe this is the masterpiece of the thesis paper, is that from today onwards, it will become more and more of a psychological number. Maybe that's your prediction. And that's going to be 6-7. It's going to be 6-7. I know, love it, hate it, doesn't matter. I can feel it in my bones. The people, whoever age group that's like hit hardest right now, as those people get older, they're going to look more and more for 6-7, even if they hated it or they think it's childish or whatever. As time goes on, they are going to look for it, and that is going to create it, I think. I'm going to not go into the whole rant here, but there's probably some really cool thought lines. What's up, Kickflick? There's probably some really cool lines of thought about how that impacts values and numbers in general. Because psychological numbers are typically so evenly distributed, basically every 5 units, by adding in these unclean ones, it skews the distribution. I would say the distribution is like skewed closer to like 5. I don't know, instead of it being 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like that, it's now 1, 4, 10, 100, 420, 500, 690, 750. Like it's skewing the distribution. I think that there's like a cool thought there, but I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Exactly. 6-7 is going to change markets. Mark my words. I don't even know how I got on that topic. Crunk got me distracted. How do I feel about the chair wash speaking Wednesday? Hawkish, brother. I feel real hawkish. I feel super hawkish. How do you feel about it? I'm going to remind everyone on every platform. Really quick for me. Tap the like button. Subscribe, follow along, say hello. I need you over there. We only have 1,000 likes on TikTok. That's probably why we don't have many viewers. We need people tapping that screen. Send a like, subscribe, share the stream out with a friend. I don't know. All that goodies. Engage with the live. We're just warming up here. Today is the intro to the FOMC week coming up on Wednesday on this channel. You're going to tune in. You promised. If you don't tune in, you're not invited to my birthday party. So just think about that next time you're not tuning in. You like to, do I want to go to Tom's birthday party or no? You do. You do. Here we go. Right there. No, that's me. Wait, where is it scheduled? There it is. The 29th. Fed Warsh speaks live at the FOMC. It's the second one. Tune in for it. Go into this. Click notify me. You want to be notified. Don't want to miss that. That'll be Wednesday. And until then, I'm expecting probably downwards trading, red market days, as markets are now looking, if you didn't catch the beginning of this episode, it was a good one. Markets are now looking and potentially pricing in an interest rate cut as early as Wednesday, or an interest rate hike. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying cuts. An interest rate hike as early as Wednesday. I'm skeptical of the Wednesday target, but I am not skeptical of the 3-month, 6-month, midterm, like mid-range targets. Within 6 months, I believe we'll have 50 BPS interest rate increases. 225 or 150, I don't know. That I'm not even going to speculate about. But I think markets are going to look to price that into Wednesday, which likely means red candles. I think it is likely on Wednesday, Warsh will come out and say, we're not changing the interest rate. He'll likely say some hawkish things. He'll likely remark on inflation, talk about the new task forces. Kind of his tone and his topic choice will be a big player as how the market reads it. But if that's the case and there is no interest rate change, I think markets will then recover, likely back to wherever they opened Monday earlier this week, and basically retrace that early pricing in, that overzealous selling on Fed expectations. That's my best bet. What's up, boys? What's up, Mo? Shade. Oh, man, so many people join. It's like crazy how many people join on TikTok. Like just like jump in. Look at all these people. And then there's like 2 people watching. But look, they just join and they don't say anything. Why don't you say anything, TikTok people? Say things. Buying a birthday card now. You're invited, Cyan Ryan. What's up, Dylan? Would you like some coffee with your milk? No, dude. It's just milk. I put the tiniest bit of coffee in it to make it look like I'm not a child. What's up, Dexum? How you doing, brother? Is the BD meme back? What do you mean? You're right, Holzel. You're right. TikTok, you may speak. It's your turn. You're granted. It's a beautiful day. Thank you, man. Who actually is over here? Let's see. On the tubes, we got Bob Saget, Brendan P and W. What's up, man? Cyan Ryan, Dexum, Dylan, Hozel, Just Al, Chris Pax. Dude, Chris Pax. I love seeing your name here. Crunk, Squad 5, myself. What are we doing today? You don't even have a name. I don't know how to. Is that a bat? What are we doing today? We're anticipating Wednesday's Fomc. Looking for oil. The 6-7 topic made you join. Dude, clip it. Because mark my words, dude. We are fundamentally changing the mental landscape of numbers. Yeah. What's your schedule for going live? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically here at around noon, a little earlier. During Fomc on Wednesday, we go at 1:30. And randomly in between, when we get big market moves, I'll just jump on emergency style. So that's why you always want to have notifications on. You want to be subscribed. Because if you see me go live outside of those times, it's spicy. Like, it's going to be real. It's going to be real spicy. Absolutely. We've been live streaming trades and analysis here for 7 years. Over 7 years. It's kind of crazy. Kind of absolutely crazy. I can hardly believe it myself. Tesla. Yeah, Elon Musk was a trillionaire for like 2 minutes. still the richest man in the world, probably. But no longer a trillionaire, obviously. Tesla taking a beating along with SpaceX here. What was that? Wednesday of last week, Thursday of last week, opened down hard. I think it was a missed earnings beat. Yeah, 38% under. Surprise. Terrible earnings. Honestly, I don't know how much surprising that was, but surprise. Opened down huge. What was a potential bullish setup for Tesla, giving away its bullishness. Now looking, in my opinion, for 280 to 295. This has been we have had this long position here since March of this year for a very long time. This kind of failed rally and a dead cat bounce. Really took a long time, and I did not expect it to happen. I thought we were going to see a quicker decline, but now the Piper getting paid here for Tesla, 295 to 280. We see I think this is the 200-day moving average. No, it's the 200-week moving average. Right about there, 295, right in this zone. I think it's juicy. That is, 295 is the what? 2021 all-time high. 295. There we go. Previous all-time high has been a big player in price action. It's lined up right along the 200-week moving average. I think there's even a nice little fib retracement here. Yep. There you go. Can I place it? There we go. Right around the 618 retracement level. I think that this is good for a bounce. I don't think that it's necessarily good for a moon play. I don't think it's going to be a moon play, unfortunately. Who knows? Anything's possible. But I would take this long from 295 up to 350, 360 potentially. You might be able to eke out a little higher even to fill the gap, because that is quite a fall. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tesla were to quickly move to this zone and then quickly recover back to that lost level of like 358. From there, your guess is as good as mine. Would not surprise me. We do have a descending high trend to grapple with. That's moving down quickly. We have an ascending low trend coming on up. And big Tesla decision time. It's going to be October of next year. Big old decision time. Mark it on your calendars. October 2027. Tesla is going to be very spicy by that time. Overreaction, definitely a buy. Sure, but I mean, probably an overreaction to that news. I don't doubt that. 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐭. But I would say not an overreaction to the price action that we've seen on Tesla. This failed high here after breaking market structure on an all-time high. Tesla hit all-time high at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, and immediately was sold. No price discovery, nothing. That was a clear rejection of an all-time high. Market not looking at the valuation of Tesla, not agreeing with it. That tight move downward broke market structure, as I said. It failed again as bulls or market participants pushed it back up. Lower high, that's dumb material. Like, that's dumb. You broke market structure, you failed your high, you were rejected from an all-time high, that's dump town. I think if it can recover from this zone. I don't have huge faith in it, but if it's going to, I think that is the place to look. What else we got going on today? Oil long. None of this is financial advice. Please don't take it as such. I'm only talking about what I can be doing or what I'm doing. But oil is actionable. It's like at a long. It's at a long. Oftentimes people will tune in and be like, well, what's the trade now? And it's like, well, the trade's already filled. Like, they're already gone. This is one of those times where it's like, it's at entry. It's right here. Could be played. Not financial advice. Kind of feels like SanDisk and the chip tech rally is fading. What do you think? What's today? You think it's October? I wish it was October. Today is July. It's almost over. Summer's coming to an end. Boo. Boo. Micron. Well, SanDisk definitely broke its structure. SanDisk is looking rough. Today's opening candle deep. Breaking past the low of May. I think that's actually going to be a new quarterly. Is that a new breaking of the quarter? Yeah. There it is. Not great looking. Not great looking at all. A lot of momentum seems to be lost here. This is looking more and more heavy. Hopefully anybody who is playing this took some profit on the way up, even if you're still bullish. You don't have a lot of support here. After you've broken past May's low, it's been sitting here. $1,000 on the way down, I think would be a decent bounce if it gets there. But that's not looking good, is it? Not looking good at all. Out of the daily cloud, it is the first twist of the daily Ichimoku cloud since this rally. Winds changing. Very ominous. At the 100-day moving average, crazy. It's only at the 100-day moving average and stumped that much. This thing has been a beast. I would caution people. I mean, look at the structure here. Look at this high. This price action just looks different. In previous pullbacks, we've seen pretty eager buying, pretty enthusiastic buying of dips. This is not looking the same heat as it's had. That's what I'll say. $1,000 would be a great target for SanDisk, but is Micron in the same boat? Yes and no. Micron doing a little better here, still above its July low, potentially looking for a higher low. Could paint a reversal here, but I would kind of bet that we see Micron follow SanDisk this week and we see it break 108. What do you guys think? Bullish or bearish? Can we get a Sol chart? We can look at Sols. Sure, Sean, we can look at Sol. What's up, my guy? Can we go over gold? Yes. 56,000 wait, an ounce. Scam disk. There it is. Get it out. Scam disk. Expect Trump to resume attacking shenanigans? Dude, I mean, it's never stopped. It's never even stopped for a minute. Let's be real. It's never stopped even for a minute. These chips not looking so great. NASDAQ not looking so great. Every day since Elon's IPO, all markets have looked worse. They all have looked weaker. They all seem to have lost some of their bullish momentum. Man, surprising. Who could have seen that coming, right? Certainly not us. All right, look at gold. Gold has not changed situationally very much. Holding out here at 4,100. This looks kind of bear flaggy to me. Kind of with no respect even to just the candles kind of shape we have going on. What I see with gold is lower highs and then now retesting support again. We're still here. Gold has been unable to make any meaningful progress to the upside. I think short is still the play, but that being said, I think you could even look to schlong it. I think you could look to schlong. Basically a super tight stop loss on a long. We're pretty close to it. Maybe closer to 4,000 if you can get it. But a close, very tight stop loss on a long. Targeting like just under 4,400. Right around the stop loss for that short. I think it could schlong. Only because you're able to have such a tight stop. Like if this trades under 39.40 or something, under June's low, I mean, I'll see you at 3,500. This guy's spamming in the chat. Badoo. Goodbye. Badoo. Yeah, we'll look at Sol. Look at Sol next. We're gonna look at gold. But I still expect this to break to the downside. I think a schlong is not bad here though. I think it's not bad. I like how tight of a stop you can be. I still think gold's future in the short term is rough. I don't think anything Wednesday is going to. I don't think anything said Wednesday is going to bolster gold. I think we're just going to look to protect the dollar. Likely that means weak gold. Rate hikes not going to be super great. Although I don't know. Rate hikes aren't great for speculative assets. I don't know about gold though. Just having a brain fart here. More sideways trading. You do see some crossing over. You do see some kind of a reversal signs on oscillators right now as gold has traded sideways for many weeks after falling very strongly. That's likely going to cause some crossovers on lots of different kinds of oscillators, which are going to kind of signal reversal when that happens. It certainly is not impossible. I just don't think it's going to make it very far. I think like 4,400 is about the top for a short-term move on gold. That's just that's my 2 cents. Like this green candle, huzzah! But you go all the way back up to 4,500, you're just back to last month. You're back to the open of June, right? That's pretty rough. Gold is having a hard time. Been holding for so long. You're holding it. I mean, dude, I'm not saying you should. Like I said, nothing I say is financial advice. I don't want you to buy or sell based on what I do. Welcome to steal my ideas. You're welcome to use them in your own analysis or use, counter trade me if you want. I don't know. But I'm just speaking how I see it. I was feeling good about Solana at 75. I'm feeling less good about it over time. The longer it stays here, the less good I feel about it. Dang. Tiny little sideways, little jewels of candles under the 20-week. Yeah, I don't like it hanging out here. I was hoping for a stronger reaction from 75. Solana opened the month at 73.50. Over the course of the next 4 days, 73.50. Of course, the next 4 days as this candle closes, I would watch that 73.50, whatever I just said, the monthly open. I think it's 73.50. Straight below there gives you another red month in a row. At this point, it's just fueling the fire. It doesn't really matter. But the bigger picture here is we had a solid long. We had a solid take profit. We found support. We found resistance. We played them. We were looking for a move back to back test that previous built support here at 75. We got it. But the reaction it's not giving me good support vibes. It's looking to me like it's grinding down these orders. We keep seeing lower lows. The highs are about the same. About the same here, like 80. If I did take this and I wanted to get out, I'd probably try to take profit at 80. But the longer it stays here, the less confident I am that it's actually going to make that move again. The 200-day moving average is very quickly moving down. When we first made this call, we were looking at it all the way up here at like 96. The 200-day has moved very quickly down. That is really, it just moved 10% down since the beginning of July. The 200-day moving average. That's rough. That's really quickly actually reaching 83. Way quickly. Each time 75 is tested here as support, each time it trades there intraday, that support is weakened. We see a lower probability of it bouncing on its next test. I don't love that. What really sucks is if it loses 75, you're back to just looking at June's low. If Bitcoin has another leg down, which I think is still probably the place, it's probably the mindset to have, that is going to happen before the bear market's over. That is almost certainly suggesting Solana will lose its low at 59. And the problem there is, where do you go? Where do you look down? Where do you go? There's just really no support built here. We had the same concept I was talking about with Tesla. You had an all-time high, but it was instantly sold into. It was rejected. Instantly. Barely even traded higher. It went from 260 to 290. Instantly sold off, lower high. Like, that's run ending. That's why I said it was kind of run ending for Tesla. I have the same concept here for Sol. That's not great. I don't think that the bottom for Solana for this bear market will be $60. The last bear market, it went $260 to $8. That's a 96% retracement. Let's be generous and say 90, right? Let's just say 90. That's like 26. That's quite a bit of falling left. That would still give it a macro higher low, and you can still then look to retest your all-time high in the next bull market. But like, something tells me that Solana is not done here in the bear market. It very well may get a nice run attempt. I think in that case, you're probably looking for this ascending trend line. So it could be like 100 right now if it went right to it. It's hard to bet up on almost anything in the crypto space right now. I would say it's hard to bet up on anything in the crypto space right now. Solana was even gaining against Ethereum last month, and that reversed too. It lost all that strength against Ethereum. It was looking really good. Now it's back to that descending trend. Solana also broke out against Bitcoin last month and gave those gains back. I mean, a little bit less, not quite the same as Ethereum, but again, relaxed, gave back a lot of that progress here. Solana on the Bitcoin pair also has some pretty troubling aspects. Well, it's still holding a low, and so I'm getting ahead of myself. Losing 0.001 against Bitcoin is pretty catastrophic. It probably lines up with that potential move much lower for Solana against USD in the bear market low. Like, I can see this, coming down here to test 0.00067. That's like a 67. Like a 33% drop against Bitcoin. There's not a lot that looks super great here. I'll give you that. As my analyses. If Solana can just pick itself up, close this month, close it out, I don't know, above 73, that's just like still pretty mids. Still pretty mids close, but at least it won't be a red close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row. Be its 10th red close in a row. What if it goes 12 in a row? Just a whole year of red candles in a row. That'd be pretty crazy. You're in a short, are you cooked? Liquidation at 82? And I don't think you're cooked. I don't think so, no. 82 is not a terrible stop. I like it. I like it. I'd feel more comfortable if it was above like 84, but no, I mean, like I said, I have this long here, but man, I'm getting less and less confident in the long. Every day it's retested less and less. 6, 7. FTX had a lot of soul. Yeah, they did, Dark Side, but like, I don't know, they had a lot of like whatever, right? Like, it's not just soul went 96%. Almost every coin from 2021 to the bear market bottom in 22 went about 96% down. Some more, some a little less. They all pretty much did. It wasn't just because they had a bunch of soul. I wouldn't even put that much stock in like that line of thought. XRP certainly looks like it wants to dump too. If I could only have one, would I have ETH or SOL? Probably ETH. I honestly neither though. I'd sell them for Bitcoin. Scammers in the chat. You always know someone's scamming when they say that they will recover your losses for them. Like, what does that even mean? What do you mean recover your losses? You're just going to give me money? They're not going to give you money. Weirdly, you'll find if you ever talk to those people, weirdly, you'll find that they're going to ask you for money. They're going to say, oh, well, if you want to, here's money, but if you want it, you have to give me a bunch of money first. It's so strange. Bitcoin not looking great either, so I will take one on the chin here too with you. Bitcoin not looking so great. Had a little bit of run last week. Oh, no bite. Just bark. Lower high. Trading down again. Monthly VWAP now connecting with 63.5. Already really tested that level a bunch. It is just not doing super hot. The whole crypto market not doing super hot. This looks not good. Why there's so many? Dude, how are there... TikTok has given me strikes and stuff for no reason. And then there's just all these scam bots in the chat. Link, I actually thank you for that, Froggy. I don't know about Link, but I think I just got an alert for Link, and I certainly have not looked at it recently. So let's see what that alert was. Link against Bitcoin, that did not play. Did not play at all. Lower lows. Not a lot there. Afraid to open this one. I know. Here we go. I wonder what the alert was. Link Bitcoin. All right, I was right. Link Bitcoin. I think it made a little bit of upside against Bitcoin. Link USD. Here you go. You peaked out of your downtrend yesterday. You closed above. Today, you back tested it. I would say I can't be bullish on Link at this moment, but there could be a scalp long trade there. Yeah. Off that trend line. You could have a very, very tight stop. Say 825 or lower. Upside target. That's where it gets hard. Even 950. Even 950 seems a little... aiming so low. I think if you're really bold, maybe 1086. Let's take a look at that Bitcoin pair again, though. I was really zoomed out. I did get an alert. Link has gained against Bitcoin in some way that I found somewhat meaningful. Looks like it's broken through the resistance it's been testing since March. Or at least one of them. It's broken a high. After painting several higher lows. Okay. That's not bad. I can see a bit of a revert, a continuation here. That would be confluence for the potential long with the really tight stop for Link. Sideways. What do we got? Tell me your secrets, Link. Would you long or short this? Long or short this? Grabbed a 50x short on oil and you're printing Ochi one. Whew. Good luck, my friend. Would you long or short this? Do you think it's going to go down or do you think it's going to go up? Does look like eventually it wants to dump its brains out. Long it. Anyone ever watch Chico Crypto? I remember him. Didn't he? I remember him having some mental health issues or something, and say I don't know, he wasn't going to stream anymore, wasn't going to make content. No idea what happened to him. I don't know if he is or not still. Honestly, I couldn't tell you a thing he's ever said other than that. I just remember seeing that pop up, and I watched it for a little bit, and I was like, oh, I hope he's okay. He's doing all right. He's much better. That's good. He loved his stinky linkies. Well, no wonder he's rough. I'm playing. Yeah, what's up, Keone? Big one. How you doing, dude? Crypto content creating gotta be in the top. Just content creating in general gotta be up there in the top few of worst mental health decisions ever. Finance in general, but crypto doubly so, because it's so volatile. It's very euphoric at times. If I know he's been doing it a long time like me, very euphoric bull run times, and then really depressing, really painful bear market times. And when you're making this content, you don't get to get away from it. Like, you're trapped in it. Other people stop watching and they come back when it's better, but like, we don't get to do that. And it can be a lot. It can be a lot. The stinky what? He shilled for sure. Oh, and I hate him. I don't know. I mean, I never shilled. So I don't know why I want to make the excuses for people of like, well, everybody did. No, they didn't. I didn't. But yeah, I don't know. 𝐂𝐡𝐚 50x oil short. You're brave one, my friend. You're brave. I wonder when you opened it. Let me see. If you opened it right now, this is the time. This is the thin line he's playing here. Basically playing this range, 82.36 to 83.2. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's an argument to be made. Oil opened really weak. Opened really weak Sunday. I think there's an argument that we've had this, we've been looking for this long to continue again. I think there's reason for a bounce there potentially. I wish you the best of luck. And you're on 50x. You gotta open and close. So you can't be holding it. So hopefully they already have a plan. Arrow. George has been quiet. He pops up on my feed every day. Oh, how is his meme coin doing? Are you ready? Yep. Friendly reminder again. Scammers spamming on TikTok. Nobody in the world can recover your losses for you. That is gibberish. What would that even mean? What would that even mean? Recover your losses for you. What would that even mean? Well, it looks like some of this analysis back earlier this year was pretty spot on. Yeah, this looks like it's going to zero. Or, you know, like another 90% down. To be fair, I doubt anyone in here bought this because I shared with you many a time how I felt, how this would go. Not a great idea. DZEX, NASDAQ falling, looking for a bounce. How's Ansem doing? Ansem is, I mean, I'll say it's better than I checked it this morning. I haven't checked it in days or weeks. Better than I would have expected. Obviously still terrible, but like better than I would have expected. What I think happens though is, you know, this just continues on. You know, I think we just haven't seen the crescendo yet, the climax yet. This is pretty ugly. 17 cents. Like I said, it could be worse. It was at 45 cents. Now it's at 17. That's 62% down. I don't know. Like, this was when anytime anyone does something like this, like, I don't know, a coin, like just anything almost, really, not even just coins. It's like, here is your pump. Like, you pump until like that pump stops at all, and then it's over and it doesn't pump ever again. That's really how all of these I've ever seen work. The pump ended July. It's just doing lower highs. Like, it can do that for a long time, but like to expect it to do this again, it's just like, it's just, our viewers are smarter than that. They're too smart. They're too smart for that. What do we got going on? SpaceX looking at dump still. TBB. What's TBB, Randy? How's Ben coin? I'm sure delisted everywhere. I'm sure delisted everywhere. Doesn't exist. So I guess it's actually zero. Literally zero. Everyone enjoying the Trump stock market, down at the very least. No, I'm not enjoying it. Not super enjoying it. I am tired of winning. That was correct. Got me. The Bitcoin bullet's a new. Yeah. Nah. I'm happy you made money, Randy. I'm happy for you. It's all part of the cycle, baby. True. Trump tweet. What did he say? Let me guess. The war isn't over, but we won it, but it isn't over. And also now we're really double mad at Iran. If you thought we were mad before, you just wait to see how mad we are now. We're double mad. We're double dog dare mad now. You thought we were playing. You thought I was playing. That was your first mistake. Got all these chats pulled up. Yeah, not sure. I know you're not, Randy. I know you're not. Tau. Wait, you think XRP is bottomed? I do not agree with you, my friend. But I don't think anything's bottomed in crypto. That's the real thing. I don't think anything's bottomed. I don't think it's bottomed at all. Tau much less volatile than I would have expected. Yeah, sure. Yeah. There you go. Tau much less volatile than I expected. Unless, yeah, no, it's up to date. Lower highs, lower lows. I mean, certainly not a good chart. The low volatility may be in its favor right now, but it also may just be suggesting that it hasn't actually broken down yet. You can consider kind of this whole range at 160, like support, that's being tested over and over again. And perhaps the markdown hasn't actually happened. Wow, it did sell a lot, though. 81%. That's not that much. Could go more. What's up, Red Sea Dragon over on TikTok? What up, my guy? The U.S. escrow will be gifted to the U.S. government. The XRP escrow will be gifted to the U.S. government. Sure. Sure, guys. You really lost the plot on crypto here, if that's what you're banking on. Lost the plot. I don't know. I don't think that this is done. This does not look done to me. Bitcoin doesn't look done. Until Bitcoin's done, I think it doesn't make any sense to look for altcoins to have bottomed. Though someday Bitcoin will have bottomed and maybe we won't know it. Maybe we'll be saying that again. 90, you think it'll bottom at 90 cents. So you think it only has 10% lower to go from where it went in June. I assume that means you have a lot of XRP, and I assume that means that it will be bad for you if it goes lower. So I hope that happens for you. I hope that is it. I don't know. I'm not quite so confident. I think there is plenty calling down here. I mean, there's plenty of room. $50. 50 cents looks juicy to me. I sold pretty much all my XRP at $2 at the end of 2024 while we were live. And then for how long? For like 400 days, it was the wrong move. It traded up to 360. For 400 days, that trade was underwater. Now I'm up 50%. Now I'm up 50% on it. Yeah, good. Your average entry is 27. That's a great. I'll give you that, man. That's a great average entry. You're sitting pretty. In that case, I think in that case, I don't know why that changes it for me. I think it goes much lower. I think it goes to 50 cents. I think we see like 50 cents. We'll see. And I will see. Yeah, just opportunity. If you really like something, price down. It's just opportunity, baby. You made it, Sean. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. These have been chilling days. Wednesday is going to be super hype. Someone was asking about like NASDAQ. I don't think it's done selling at all. I think that this move has just started on NASDAQ. I think it's just begun, my friends. 25.7. I mean, like 26, low 26s. See if you back test the previous highs here. Kind of wouldn't be surprised to see it honestly trade lower. Like to this trend, break the previous high. And then maybe you get like one more parabolic bounce that goes up like real fast. Everybody FOMOs and then rallies over. Then the music stops. That's my guess. SpaceX is just ready to dump again. Ready to dump live. The VWAP, this shit's a game changer. Yeah, it is, dude. The VWAP is one of my, it's not like a new tool I use, I'd say, because I've been using it a long time. But like over the last, I don't know, like 5 years, it's probably my favorite tool I've like incorporated more into my trading. I want to look at Pengu. Meh. Now I love the VWAP. We have a great video on the VWAP. Great video on the VWAP. It's on the playlist, on the channel, on the YouTube. Hit it. The glasses, yes. There you go. I think I have 2 videos on the VWAP. Can't remember now. I made so many. There's like 50 of them now. So many. You lost your 50x. I'm sorry, brother. To be fair. Wow, to be fair. Now it's going back down. 50x is the reason, though. Leverage that high, you can be in the right direction and still lose. Palantir. Lower highs. Wow, bouncing on the descending trend, though. I still think this is breaking down. I still think Palantir is going to 80, 84. No change there. Still looking ugly. Ooh, you got 100x short. You close it on the dip. Hell yeah, Sean. Hails to the yeah. Markets are chilling, waiting for FOMC on Wednesday. Grizz. Where's my boy Zach Martin? Where's Zach? Grizz just dropped a new mix. Not just a new song, a new mix. I wish he would have made Side Quest Volume 2, but he made Future Funk Volume 1. I'm still short on the Spcx. SBX I still think is going down. Though I wonder if SPX will somehow do, well, not somehow, if it will like weather it better because it doesn't have Elon, doesn't have SpaceX in it. SpaceX really is like, we haven't seen a breakdown yet, so I can't declare victory. But SpaceX at this point, in my opinion, was the top. Like, it was the top, as predicted. SPX looks more like a bull flag. Let's hear it. I don't know if I play it. If I play it, it might get in troubles. I do want to play it though. You've tempted me. What's up, Bruno? Renteridine. What's up, brother? Das Peach on X. Ah, yo. My man. Love Das Peach. Chat doesn't think my eyes are pretty. It's okay. I'll live. I do, and my mom does. So it's pretty much all that matters. My mom said they're pretty, so. I gotta mute the tab because I don't want it to be like mega loud if I start playing it. I turn the volume down. Yeah, it says my stream disconnected. I wonder why. I wonder what it means when it says that. Because we're not disconnected. Maybe it means like the Instagram one is disconnected. But here. Yeah, we can chill, listen to some Grizz. Drop it, Grizz. Hold up. Grizz is one of my favorite DJs. Artists. Maybe my favorite.
You're listening to Future Funk.
Future Funk. Future Funk.
Future Funk. Future Funk Radio.
Future Funk Radio. What's better than that?
And the TikTok live. Yes. Bow, bow. Bow. It's all about the beats. Bass. Beats. And then some of these other ones, hold up. Oh yeah. It's all about the bass. It's funky. There's Pickle. What's up, bro? Feeling that vibe. It's all about nostrils. What's up, Ahmad? It's good to see you again, brother. What's up, Pooski? Quicker, what's up, man? Good. I know you did Quicker. You the man. Yeah, YouTube is fickle. Jensen Hong opening an X account was a top friend video? Probably. Probably. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's all about the bass. It's all about the beats. It's all about the funk. It's all about the love. It's all about the bass. It's all about the beats. It's all about the funk. It's all about the love. It's all about the bass. The beats. The funk. The love. It's all about the funk.
This is what all bonds look like.
It's all about the
Tell me that doesn't look like it's about to explode. Like bullish or bearish on this chart. So bearish. It's crazy. Oh God, Grizz, you're so good. He has risen. What else is there to look at? So good, dude. What stock, Mike? Cash, baby. Copper. Not financial advice. Boog. Google. Let's go. I love this. Lost Lands. Not even 2 months away. I'm ready. What's up, Pump a Lot? What's up, Alex Wells? Mike, a big bed. Verhoopty Floofin, what's up, brother? Pickle. A lot of sideways here. Whoa.
Yo, this boy Grizz back on his funky shit, huh? I like that.
New orders for long-lasting manufacturing goods. Last month it was minus 4%. Missed 1.3% forecast month over month for June. That's not good. OPEC meeting tomorrow.
From coast to coast, the most dope.
FOMC Wednesday. Got some stuff ahead this week. Yeah, that diamond played on NASDAQ. So funky. I need to see Grizz live. I need to see Grizz live. We're gonna find out there. So we're gonna find out, Ryan. We'll hear all about them task forces. Ooh, Grizz is in New York in September. Ah, but I'll be at Lost Lands. And then he's nowhere. Boo. Thanks for funking out with me, friends. Madame Jada. I did a bunch. Really, there's nothing on Bitcoin right now. Doesn't look great. Hasn't done anything. Kind of just waiting for this to play out. I don't have anything special for you. I've also been live for a little bit now, so just vibing. Wednesday, there's really very little, I think, reason to change any position until Wednesday. We could get an interest rate hike and all markets could just start dumping. I don't know. We could not get one. We could get no change and then everything start pumping. Like, it's chill time. I wish I had. I hate not being able to like talk about Bitcoin. There's just we're just waiting. We're just waiting for this to change. You know, June, July started to a pump. Now we're just sideways. Waiting for that 200 day. Basically just in this range between 200 week and 200 day. That's it. 63.2. 72. There you go. Definitively break either and probably getting continuation. Funk it. Funk it, funk it, funk it, funk it. Don't mind. Rainbows in the sky. I'm gonna put this link if you guys wanna listen to the rest of the Future of Funk Volume 1 by Grizz. Go ahead. It's good. It's like 45 minutes of that. Love you guys. It's Wednesday FOMC. You should be here for it. It's gonna be epic. We have a now 40% predicted chance of an interest rate hike on Wednesday. Shit's about to hit the fan. Either way. You'll be there 1:30 p.m. East. Make sure you hit notify me, subscribe, notifications on. In the Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. Sign up with our exchange partners, BYD-Fi and Fomc. Links in the description below. And in the Discord, if you sign up using any of those links, you will get VIP roles in our Discord. That's all you have to do. Tune in Wednesday. Mark your calendars. Be there.